This one, I'm already going to tell you guys, I've put him in poor form. Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a tier list all by myself, rating the start of the season that the top 10 summer signings have had by how much they cost. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by our partners at Spitch. Spitch is the fantasy football manager game for those of you in the UK and in Ireland, where you can put a team together, collect points and battle it out on the pitch against other managers. Each week there's a chance for you to win a share of up to £70,000, and you can create a new team each week for the Champions League, the Europa League, the Bundesliga and the Premier League as well. Make sure you click the link in the description below to get involved. But with all that said and done, let's get on with ranking the first player. So first off, let's bring you the tiers. We've got 10 out of 10, would buy again, strong start, meh, poor form, and try again next year. Right, the first player on this list is Emi Buendia. Actually had an astonishingly good season with Norwich. Moved to Aston Villa for around 40 million euros. And that's kind of all there is to mention. Really, his start has been anything but spectacular at Aston Villa. I know they didn't have the greatest start, that's why they got rid of Dean Smith, bought in Steven Gerrard. But yeah, I'm going to go try again next year. Not to say he'll turn out to be a bad signing in the future, but this is just ranking how they've started at their new club in the first few months of the season. Yeah, try again next year. It's not been a great start for Emi Buendia. Next up, Tammy Abraham. This one, I'm already going to tell you guys, I've put him in poor form. I've put him in the fourth tier in poor form. I feel very harsh because he's acclimatizing to a new country, a new league, a new language, new teammates, Jose Mourinho at Roma. It was never going to be easy for Abraham, but he hasn't scored a ridiculous amount of goals for them. So maybe I could put him in meh. No, I'm going with poor form. I'm going to set Tammy Abraham high standards because I know Tammy Abraham sets himself high standards because he can be a very, very good striker. It's taking some settling in, but yeah, 40 million euros is quite a lot of money to pay for Roma. So yeah, poor form. Next up, talking of 40 million euros, that is how much Liverpool paid RB Leipzig to bring in Ibrahim Konate. Now, I could be really harsh and say because of his injuries, because of not playing that many games, he's been terrible. But in the 7 matches he has played, Liverpool have kept 5 clean sheets. I think they've won every single game that he's played, apart from the Brighton one where they conceded 2 and they conceded 1 against AC Milan in the Champions League. Apart from that, he's been flawless. Liverpool's defence has been flawless. I'm going to give him strong start. I think it's been a very strong start from Konate. Next up, strong start again for Rafa Varane. Again, if you take the injuries into account, it's quite difficult to judge him on playing every single match, but in the games that he has played, he's been very, very good. He is a very good defender. Manchester United knew what they were getting when they paid around the 40 million euro mark for him. And again, much like Konate, it's been a very strong start. I don't think, because obviously Liverpool have been much better than Manchester United, I don't think we can pin every single defensive error or Manchester United's lack of form in certain areas of the season so far, specifically on Rafa Varane. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took a lot of that heat and now he's no longer in charge. So yeah, Varane, I'm going strong start. Moving up onto the list, and the 6th most expensive signing this summer was another one who left Leipzig, but this time joined Bayern Munich, and that is Dayot Upamecano for 42.5 million euros. Not only have they signed a great defender, they've also weakened a rival. Bayern Munich can just do that too often. See, this one, Upamecano has done well for Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have a very, very strong defensive structure anyway, and are quite comfortably at the top of the Bundesliga at the minute and did phenomenally well in the Champions League. But has Upamecano been tested? He had an absolute stinker against Dortmund, coming up against the second best team in the Bundesliga. Now, one game doesn't maketh the man, but I'm not sure he's been absolutely astonishing, so I'm going to go meh. I'm going to bang in the middle with Upamecano and meh. Next up, Ben White. This is a tough one because I think he's been quite good. Arsenal haven't been fantastic. He's been quite good, not unbelievably, because he's not an unbelievable defender just yet. He's not in the top 10 centre-backs in the world, but they've paid 50 million for him. This is the problem. But Ben White, English tax, buying from another English team, they can hold out for a lot more money because the likes of Brighton have got more money. He is not better than the other defenders we've been talking about. So we've got Konate, Varane and Upamecano. Ben White is not better than those players, but he's cost more than those players. Oh my God. So based on that, I'm going to put him in meh. I think he's had a strong start, but I think also compared to what they've paid for, hasn't been astonishingly good for Arsenal. So I'm going to put him in the middle. Next up is Ashraf Hakimi for 60 million euros from PSG. Now, for those of you who've been watching for a while, you'll know that last season at Inter Milan, I was singing from the rooftops about how good Hakimi was. The right wing-back system, he was astonishing as Inter Milan won the title, made it all the way to the final of the Europa League. That hasn't been quite good at PSG. Maybe it's because he's in the right back instead of a right wing-back. I really have not been impressed with him at all. I'm going to go poor form for Hakimi. I think spending that much money on a player who it looks as though he's good at right wing back, but not a right back for some reason, hasn't really done too much going forward at all. Scored 2 in 1 game, which was great. A couple of assists at the beginning of the season. Since then, not much else going forward either. I think they'd expect a lot more from someone who last year, arguably, along with the likes of Reece James and Trent Alexander-Arnold, could have been one of, if not the best right backs in Europe. And now they've paid 60 odd million for him and not really seen a return on it. So I'm going to go poor form for Ashraf Hakimi. Next up, we've got Jaden Sancho. Probably the same thing can be said. Look, okay. I know he hasn't got many minutes on the pitch, hasn't exactly been able to adapt to a brand new system. Apparently Sancho came off after one of his first games for United and said, oh my God, I can't believe how fast the Premier League is. Yes, he's adapting to a new division. That's exactly what I said for Tammy Abraham. He's still got a poor result. He's been not really played too much, so it's difficult to judge him. He looks like he's getting a bit more into it, but even so, 85 million euros. I'm going to say try again next year, Jaden. I know it's getting better, but I'm going to say try again next year. There really has not been enough to show that he was not only worth that money, but to see anything that he was doing at Dortmund. None of that has translated over to Old Trafford just yet. Of course, at the end of the season, we can review these and probably I'll look like an idiot, and we will review these actually at the end of the season. This is a good halfway point to look at. But yeah, for now, try again next year, Jaden. Next year meaning the calendar year, so maybe he'll be great in 2022. Following on from this, for 115 million euros, we've got Romelu Lukaku. Strong start literally defines Lukaku's time at Chelsea. Strong start. He started phenomenally. And then for some reason, it just looks like he doesn't fit into a Thomas Tuchel team, which is very odd. Seems to have Kai Havertz in that false 9. And it just seems like for a club to spend so much money on him, knowing that he wouldn't fit in would be very stupid. I don't think Chelsea have done that exactly. Oh, but good God, 115 million. He has been very good though at the beginning. And I think not playing hasn't helped him. But he had a strong start, so I'm putting him in strong start. I think Lukaku is a very, very good player. Yes, other players play in the team. That's what happens. Like, you can't play every single game, even if you are a very expensive signing. But that leads us to the most expensive signing in Premier League history. Here at 117 million euros, I've got it. I believe it was 100 million pounds if we're taking the conversion rate. Jack Grealish to Manchester City from Aston Villa. I'd sound like one of those guys, an auctioneer. 100 million pounds sold. Jack Grealish, Aston Villa to Manchester City. This one comes with a multitude of complications. I think on the pitch, he's been ineffective. He's been good at what he needs to do for this Manchester City role. He hasn't been doing what he's doing at Aston Villa because he doesn't have the same role. He isn't the go-to guy for Aston Villa. He isn't the one who needs to be bringing in assists and goals every single season for Aston Villa. And he won't do that for Manchester City, simply put, because that's not his primary role in this team. There are plenty of other attackers who can do that as well. And I think expecting Jack Grealish to be the main guy at Manchester City, that's not what they bought him for. And you know what? A squad player, a regular starter, let's say, not a star player, at Manchester City probably costs around 100 million these days. If you're going to be good enough to challenge and replace the likes of Sterling, the likes of Mahrez, the likes of Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne in the first team, you need to be a good player. And to get a quality player like that, you're going to have to pay good money, and they have paid good money. But after all that, it hasn't been groundbreaking. hasn't been groundbreaking. Personally, I think there's a lot more to come from Jack Grealish, but I'm going to put him in poor form. Or am I going to put him in strong start? That's quite the contradiction. Oh my God, I don't even know I'm going to have to settle for meh. Right in the middle. I don't think any of these players, as of now, have hit the ground running to such an extent that you're going to say 10 out of 10 would buy again. If any of you can put any one of this list in 10 out of 10 would buy again, be my guest. Let me know in the comments section why. But of course, thank you so much for watching. As always, leave your comments down below. Smash the like button. And until next time, I will see you guys later.